Hey everybody, welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. Look who's in the house. Dave Caley's in the house. Oh, he's wonderful. His music's great, and we're gonna have a fun interview with Dave today. Oh yeah, but before we talk to Dave, I need to talk to you out there. I want to thank each and every one of you checking out the No Cover TV podcast. The past shows, which were audio, are on Spotify, and now you can check them out on YouTube. Plus, we went to video, obviously, so you can check all the shows out live on YouTube and the No Cover TV Facebook page. Pretty cool stuff there. Also, you know what I'm going to say next, people? Yeah, you do. My three favorite words: support, support, support. Support these artists. Go to the shows, pay a cover charge if there is one. Get to the swag table. Get yourself a CD, an album, a T-shirt, a hoodie, a coffee mug, keychain, bumper sticker, perfume. Oh my! It goes on and on. Then get to the stage and enjoy that show. Stay after if you can to meet the artist. Try to get an autograph. You just never know where these artists are going to go. And these artists love doing what they're doing. Put a smile on your face. In return, is put a smile on their face. Yes, music makes the world go around. It's a great thing, people. Yes. So let's not waste any time. Dave, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and after listening to that, I know you're a seasoned musician, buddy. After listening to that
Appreciate it.
speech, it's so true. It's so true, and I'm doing fine.
Good.
And like I said, thanks for having me, man. This is
Well, I
my hometown, or not hometown, but home state, and I just grew up down the road in Kalamazoo.
That's right. We are in the same state. We're about an hour away from each other, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's right, man. That's
Right.
right.
Oh, yeah. So Dave is an amazing singer, songwriter, contemporary country, I want to call it. And I'm just going to say it the way it is. It kick ass. It's kick ass, brother. Oh
Oh, thank
man.
you, thank
I
you.
got yeah, I got your music and I've been listening to it. You are really, really good, brother.
Well, thank you. I work with a producer that
Yeah.
produces those tracks for me that worked in Nashville for 2 years. Now he works in I I don't live in Kalamazoo now. I live in North Carolina, and
Okay.
yeah, and I'm back and forth to Kalamazoo some, but near Charlotte. And this guy worked. I record in GAT3 Productions in Charlotte, and this guy is an amazing engineer. Just I love working with him. We've done probably 10 projects, and we got plenty more lined up. Just great music,
Right.
and I love doing that. And when I hear somebody like yourself, it's really a big compliment for me to hear another musician, another singer, entertainer say, "Man, you sound pretty good," because I don't ever brag myself up. I don't like that. But when
Right.
somebody else does it, like yourself, you don't need to do that. You don't need to say that to me, but you
Nope.
do. That's a hell of a compliment, and I thank you.
Well, I thank you because it's great music that you put out there, my friend. It's great music. Yes. So we got some things to go over, Dave. And yes, I mean, like I said, your music's great. We're going to get into that in a second here. But what I do with all my artists is I jump in your head, find out what you're about a little bit. You going to let me get in that head of
Sure,
yours?
of
All right,
course.
let's do it. Let's
It's
adjust the
pretty.
hat.
It's pretty air free. I'll tell you.
Air free. All right.
Yeah.
We'll find out my way in there. I think we're probably about the same age. And I'm going to take you back to about 8 years old. That's about the age, we're listening to our parents' music, siblings'
Uh huh.
music, and we're
Uh huh.
finding our own music.
Right.
What were you kind of listening to back then when you
Well,
were
my
young?
dad was a big Bing Crosby fan,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
he loved Bing Crosby, and he'd always tell me, and now that guy can sing, and
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
course being my age, I said, oh, I don't like him, I don't like him. Nat King Cole's another one.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Great singers, and
yeah.
so I kind of got really interested in music when Elvis started coming out, and Carl Perkins, and
Oh, yeah.
Chuck Berry, and people
Mm.
that you still, and I emphasize this with a lot of these younger people, you still hear that music that was
Mhm.
back in the early 60s today. Think about that, how many
Yeah,
years that's been. And
you do.
they they laugh at you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I says the music, some of the music you're listening to today, you will never hear 60 years from now if we're all
No.
still here, you know. But I love music. I love music, and Merle Haggard was he was one of my idols. I loved him, and Ricky Skaggs,
Oh, yeah.
and then you go to Gape Mouth Brown. I don't know if you know who he is.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, fiddle player, blues player, and there's just so many. Eric Clapton's another one. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Woo.
and so that's kind of where I'm at. You know,
Okay.
I do different styles of music. Now this last one that I did, they call that bro country. This engineer
Bro
laughs at me.
country.
He says
Bro country.
you gotta have your hat on backwards, Dave, and your belt buckle showing, and all, and your the tongues of your shoes pulled up high, and all. You know, he says that's what you're doing on this one. I says, well, I want to show some of these young cats that us older guys can put out the same kind of music as they are. And
Oh, yeah.
so, but I'm a traditional. Actually, I started out with traditional country, and I love that music. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Merle
It's great.
Haggard, and you know, people like that, and
Yeah.
some of these guys today, more power to them. I mean, if people like that kind of music, hey,
Yeah.
things got to change, you know. But when I was playing the clubs, buddy, you played country music. That's what those people and off the radio. Unfortunately, you had to play a lot of covers, as you well know,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
being an artist yourself, and that's what people want to hear. But there is so many artists out there, and some of these young guys that are singing today are pretty good singers, and some of them are terrible. You know,
Right.
in my opinion,
Well,
and
mine too.
yeah, you know, but this next song I'm coming out with, we've been releasing a new song every month out of Nashville,
Great.
and it's fun, you know. And I've got one I'm working on. It's going to be out November 1st, and then he's going to release one October 1st. And I don't know if they sent you uh, like last summer, summer like that song or not to you, but
Yep.
that's the one coming out October 1st. And then
October is.
yeah, and then the next one will be November 1st. And then of course we go into the Christmas season, and
Right.
I've already got a Christmas song recorded. And
Do you?
oh yeah, yeah, I've done 120 some recordings, songs and stuff, and still rocking, you know. And
Going at it.
well,
Wow.
I figure as long as I don't run people out, that I can keep singing, you know. I love doing it. I love doing it. I love finding the
That's cool.
music. I work with Nashville songwriters that
That's
send me some butt kicking songs, you know, and it's just fun doing it. But
yeah.
that's where I'm kind of at.
Oh, well, good. Now, you got a little older. What age did you pick up the guitar or the fiddle? What age was that?
Oh, what was it? My middle 30s. I picked up the
Oh,
fiddle.
really?
Yeah, I picked up the fiddle, and I can always remember this neighbor of mine. He heard me scratching around in the garage with that, and he says, "You'll never learn how to play that. You'll never learn. You're wasting your time." Well, I played professional fiddle in Nashville, and if you can play there, you can play anywhere. Believe me.
Anywhere,
But I use it in my act. I'm not a great fiddle player. Don't get me wrong, but
right?
I use it in my act, and it makes the show a lot more exciting. You know, when you do
Yeah. Oh,
something like
yeah.
that. And so I use it in that, and you know, I surround my when I go to Nashville, I play with some of the best. Believe me.
A great
Uh,
artist. Oh, man.
have you been to Nashville at all?
I have, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I played in the Nashville Palace and all them one Troubadour Theater. That's not
Oh,
there.
wow.
That's not there. It's a different
Okay.
name. It's Troubadour something now, but yeah, and I would get invited to play, you know, when I was in the audience, and I would do it, and it was so much fun thinking to myself, what am I doing playing with these guys? You know, they're so
Right.
good.
Oh, right.
They're
Oh,
so Shania Twain's lead guitar player was playing, and I mean, people like that, you know, that are way
oh,
over my head, and
yeah.
but it's still fun. It's
It
still
is.
music is fun. Are you still playing at all?
Uh, well, I practice, I should say, but I haven't played out since '97. And
Wow.
I'm right now kind of collaborate with an artist over in Australia on a song, a cover song, and I'm looking
Wonderful.
at maybe we could collaborate on a song. We never know, you know.
Yeah, wonderful.
So
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah. I'll send you my recordings when they come out.
yeah.
And if you got a song or whatever, if I come up with, I can, are you going in, do you go in a studio and record, or how do you do it?
Oh,
Or
I
how
have
are
the
you going to?
TV. Well, if I'm going to record, I work with Robin. Robin's the keyboard player for the Silver Bullet Band, Bob Seger's band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who's Bob Seger? Oh, I remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's he?
Yeah. I just heard him in a store I was in. My goodness. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I turn the
Yeah.
radio on. It's like I turn it off. It's like I
Yeah.
don't want to hear it. Nothing against Bob Seger or Robin, but
Yeah.
so he's got
Yeah.
a big studio, and
Oh,
I
that's
help him
cool.
sometimes. Or I will go to the TV station studio, and I will go into the studio there and run the
Uh-huh.
board, get everything because we got all the mics and equipment down there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I was working with Phil Collins, keyboard player in
Oh,
Nashville, and this is just a story. You didn't ask me to
sure.
say anything about it, but I wanted to record a song that Journey did.
Oh,
So I did, and I went to Nashville to do it. And the guy that was the producer uh, was Brad Cole,
really?
and yeah, and he's the keyboard player. Was the keyboard player for Phil Collins. Well, Phil
Hmm.
Collins is one of my favorite singers. I think the guy is great, although
Right.
he's having a lot of health problems now.
Yeah, he
So I
is.
went over to his house, and he's got this big old piano. He says, "Let me hear you sing." So I did, and he says, "All right, this is what we're going to do." And he produced this song, and
Whoa.
yeah, and you know, it it was a big thrill to me. So I'm
Yeah.
watching TV one night, and there's Phil Collins in New York playing at some venue, and here's Brad
Right.
right up on the keyboards, and here's Phil Collins with a uh, music stand, and he's reading the words that he's singing the song to. Well, Brad traveled all over Europe with him. They played all over the place, and I
Oh yeah.
saw him in a big concert at the one of those German sites, and fantastic show. But he said that when he started working with Phil, he worked with him. I think he said 10 years. They would practice every day, 7 days a week for 2 months, every
Okay.
day before they went on tour. He said, but before they went into that New York thing, he said we rehearsed a week. And he says
Reversed.
that's why he was reading the music. But
Right.
I love Phil Collins. I think
Oh
he's a
yeah,
good singer.
definitely.
He got a little testy with the ladies, and it's cost him a lot of money. But I'll tell you another thing that Brad Cole told me. He says when we finished that tour in Europe, he said Phil gave everybody that was working for him $10,000,
Nice.
and
That's good.
that's you're right. That's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
it is. Yeah.
But that's just one of the stories I got, and
Well, good, good. I want to
you know.
hear it all. So now, what age did you, did did you start singing? Were you in choir or anything like that when you were a kid? Why music? What draw you to music to want to be a performer?
Well, actually it was the fiddle in Doug Kershaw.
Really?
I wanted to learn how to play the fiddle, and of course it was like what an instrument. I mean, geez. Uh, Mike Cleveland's one of the top fiddle players in the country. I don't know, I think his name's Mike. A fiddle player. He's the best. I mean, he is the best. Michael Cleveland. And but anyway, I thought, I wonder if I could learn some of them old timey farm songs.
Oh yeah.
So I go,
Oh.
so I find a guy in Otsego, Michigan that'll teach me a couple things, and went to him and got to learning, and found out that my bluegrass technique wasn't quite up to snuff. so I So I switched over to country, and here we are, and when I first started playing, I remember working with Hal Ketchum in Kalamazoo at the State Theater, and
Oh,
I remember him coming in there with an ass kicking band, man. I loved Hal Ketchum, and he came in there, and I'm sitting out there just watching his sound check, and he blew
right.
me out. He blew me out of the place, and I
It's
mean,
amazing.
and I asked my lead guitar player, I says, "My God, that he's gonna knock the crap out of us." He says, "Ah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine." He said,
Right.
just remember one thing: nobody's here to see you." And I says, "Yeah, well,
Hey,
that was my first show there, and
okay.
yeah, and they're there to see Hal Ketchum, and after I did my 45 minutes in front of him, here he is standing on the side of the stage giving me the dirtiest look because we put on a heck of a show, because it just
Showed him off.
I'm not well, not intentionally, but why would you go in there and not play your best? I know you would.
Right. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and he didn't like that, but the audience sure did. And after that, I mean,
Yeah, that's all that matters.
yeah, I worked with a lot of different acts after that. I played the Battle Creek Balloon Festival twice,
Oh really?
and 2 years in a row. Once with the Blue Angels, and the next year with the Thunderbirds. We were both headliners there. There was 100,000 people at one of those.
Oh,
I have never seen anything like that. I mean, it
two.
was just rows, not there to see me so much, but it was just that's a fun event over there. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I see it, but I mean, and I haven't actually attended, but I have seen,
Yeah.
video and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
a fun event. And I haven't played it in quite a few years now, but they gave it to me 2 years in a row. In fact, it was over the 4th of July, and I could have
nice.
worked every day of that holiday. But I didn't because I know there were other musicians and bands that wanted to play the same thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it, and I don't know whether they
Okay.
didn't like that or what because I haven't been back there since. So, but I did it 2 years in a row, and
Oh,
it was fun.
oh,
And
great experience.
oh,
Oh,
yeah, I have never seen anything like that many people. I can still see that they were lined up in rows like cards, stacked cards,
oh,
and I thought there ain't no way isn't any way that I would be involved like that.
yeah.
Be it setting out in the audience like that. I just would. Well, they weren't setting; they were standing. But uh, you know, one place I would like to play is that big center there in Grand Rapids. What is that big stadium you got there?
The Van Andel Arena.
Yeah, probably never will. But I played Wing Stadium in Kalamazoo, and
Oh, great.
in uh, Battle Creek. I played the Kellogg Arena
Oh,
and
nice. Those are
stuff
nice.
like that. Yeah, I don't like arena shows like I like the theaters with
Oh,
like 3,000 people.
well,
I don't know if you've ever played an arena, but the
no.
sound is so different.
Well,
Uh,
it's kind of you got that sound goes back and it takes about 30 seconds to come back to you.
yeah, and
The relay delay, I should say.
so you know, but just being able to play a thing like that, a place like that, was pretty good.
Oh,
And
I bet.
it was fun. It was fun. I've had a lot of fun with doing these
Well,
gigs.
okay. Now, when you how old were you when you decided to get out there and play music professionally?
Well, I was kind of pushed into it from Nashville, and
Professional, push it,
y-
get in there, Dave.
yeah, well, he would bring me. I played in a lot of celebrity golf tournaments in Nashville at the time.
Oh,
That was back in the '90s, and I worked with this guy that he told me. He says, "Dave," I says, "I hate golf, and I do. I'm terrible at it. I really am. I'm terrible at it." But he said, "Look, a lot of business is done on the golf course," and by golly, he was right.
oh yeah.
I played all over Nashville, and the only thing that I didn't ever get to do is play the Grand Ole Opry.
Never
And
played a Carol Opry.
nope. And I did. I was the first artist to ever shoot a music video backstage there. And
Oh,
yeah, and the Opry manager at the time hated the guy that was helping me. And we were backstage at the Opry, and he told me, he says, "You will never play this stage." I didn't even know the man. And
right.
I says, okay. He was a very intimidating man. He's not there anymore. He's been gone a long time, but yeah, he didn't even know me. He says, "You will never play this stage." And by God, he was right. I never played it. But I played every
Oh,
other place. I mean,
okay.
it's just you know as well as I do. You quit playing music in '97, you said.
Yes.
So that's quite a while ago. And if
28
you,
years, yeah.
yeah, and if you quit, you quit. That's it. You know, you're not doing it anymore. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Al, you aren't ever giving that up completely
No, I
until
won't.
till you're maybe in the nursing home or whatever. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
But you know what I mean. That's
I do.
in there. That's in your system, man.
It
And
is.
that's the same with me. I can't let people. You can't listen to other people that are so negative around you. You know,
No,
and
no.
I don't have anything to do with folks like that for very long.
Same here.
You
Say,
know,
I cleaned house. I clean house.
did you? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, you got to take it. If it depends. It's just like you and I never met you before today,
Oh,
and you listen to my music and says, "Man, that's good stuff," and I thank you for that. But if you don't stay serious and put out good stuff, then people aren't going to pay any attention to you. Now, I was told in Nashville, Dave, when you take your CD at the time and put it next to Alan Jackson's, it's got to look just as good, whether it is or
just
not.
as,
It's
if not better. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Because who are you going to pick? Dave Caley or Alan Jackson? Well, I'm gonna pick Alan Jackson, you know. But
Right.
so that's the way it is. You know, I've had a lot of fun with this business, and I've been shystered a couple times by
Mm,
crooks,
yeah,
and because I'm a trusting guy, I'm not so
same
trusted
here.
anymore. But I was at the time. People promise you stuff, and then they don't follow through on it. And it's a shame. I
It,
work with a promotion company out of Nashville. It's
oh,
called Keith Bradford Promotions, right out of Madison, Tennessee. And I'm going to tell you something. I've known Keith Bradford for 20 years. Him and his brother Mike.
okay.
They produce all the promotions on me. I'm on the Vimeo network with all kinds of my works on there. I've got over 200 podcasts on there,
Wow.
just playing music, and they produce all that stuff. And Keith is one of the most knowledgeable guys in the music business, and honest, that I've ever run across. He worked with Kitty Wells for 15 years, traveled all over the world, and we took a liking to each other 20 years
Nice.
ago. And he promotes me as best he can,
That's good.
and does a hell of a job. And more people, there need to be more people like him that you can actually trust. But I'm telling you what, around these music people in Nashville or LA or New York, wherever you might go, there's a lot of sharks, man.
Oh,
As
yeah.
you well know, there's probably a few in Grand Rapids.
Oh, yeah,
There's
my,
what?
well, when my foot starts twitching, it means it's going up somebody's ass. You know, and
But
yeah,
you know what I mean, Al.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody tells you something, and I at the beginning, you go, oh my goodness, really? Well, when you find out that no, it doesn't. He isn't gonna do shit. Whoops, excuse the language,
That's all right.
but
Sure, sure.
well, and you get real disgusted with it, and they always said, well, you can quit if you want to, but then if you quit, then what? And I have never quit.
All
and
right.
probably never will.
No,
I love recording. I just love it. And
that's awesome, Dave.
as long as it's good, if
Right.
when it starts to not be good anymore, then I won't do it. But I tell you, I've got 35 music videos have been produced on me over the years, and all the songs on that are, I mean, just great. And I've done some. I like doing cover songs, but I haven't done any in a while,
Oh,
because the one month, about 4 months ago, I got 200 song pitches. People out of Nashville,
oh,
songwriters out of Nashville,
that's
and
great.
I work with Bob Della Posta in Nashville, and
Okay.
he's a heck of a writer. I've worked with Bob for a long time, and I'm recording one of his songs that he's
Yeah.
the publisher on. It's one. Well, I won't tell you what the name of it is because I want to keep it. I want to get it recorded because if somebody else hears
Okay.
it, if
Right.
somebody else hears it, but it's a traditional, great message song. And when I first heard it, I knew I was going to do it. I don't know how you do that when you record. Do you? I mean, how do you pick a song?
Oh boy, how do I pick a song? It's just I take the pretty much like the top three or four it has to hit the heart. It has to make my skin,
You're right. You're
the hair
right.
rise up on my arms. Then I know I got something. Yeah.
You're right. That's the
Yep.
same with me. I know when that song is right for me,
Yeah. You
and
do.
some people don't understand that, but that's the way it is. And then I end up listening to the song about 50 times, and then
Right.
I'll listen to it, the next day, and keep listening to it, and uh, you know, uh, you have to like the song you're doing to begin with,
You do.
to
Yeah.
put out a good product,
Right.
and this engineer I work with, his name's Wade Starnes in Charlotte, and
Okay.
he it's he works for GAT3 Studio Productions there, and he's worked for them for 26 years, but he spent time in Nashville working with guys like Joe Diffie and people like that, and what an engineer. But
Yeah.
he won't let me get out of that studio
Oh,
until
that's awesome.
until he is absolutely happy. He's not going to, and I like that.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh
just
yeah.
throw me out the door. And he won't. He's not that way. But like I say, we've done several projects. Anybody in the Charlotte area that may be listening to this, if you want to go to a professional studio where it's an amazing place, and it's GAT3 Productions. I mean,
Yeah. Great.
it's just a great place. In fact, they just went over to. They were just hired. They got a video part of their business is video too. Susan's daughter. Susan's the what is she? She's actually the boss, but her and Glenn own the place, and they're just such sweet people. But their daughter runs the video part of it. They just went over to Italy with the videos and filmed a guy's wedding. And they took over there. I'm going to guess they took 25 people.
Oh
And
really?
that guy paid for the whole thing, flew them over there, put them up, and
Ooh,
all
that's pretty
kinds of stuff. Can you
cool.
imagine what that must have cost? But
Yeah.
think about the reputation they must have to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I
That's
mean,
amazing.
but
Wow.
I love going there, and I'm due to go in there again. Let's see, the 19th of next month to do
Oh,
this
nice.
new song. But like I
Oh,
say, we put out one a month, and flood the market, I guess you might
yeah,
say.
go.
But
Yeah, definitely
but
get it out there. Singles, definitely. Singles are the
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
so that's kind of where we're at, man.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Now, are you playing out at all?
No, not right now. I'll tell you what.
No.
This band uh, in Kalamazoo, the last show we did was with Brad Paisley.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and that was just before COVID. Well, you see what COVID done to everybody.
I know it's bad.
And w- then I moved to North Carolina, and that kind of screwed that up a little bit. So I haven't played out. So the problem with me is, excuse me, I got bad allergies today. People want you to do stuff, but they don't want to pay anything. And
I
when
hear you.
when you get a band, those guys need to be paid.
They
I've
do.
I've had times where I was playing with my band, and they would get paid and I didn't. They always got paid. Because that's just the way I am, you know. But come on and do this show for us, will you? Well, we can't pay anything, but you're going to get a lot of publicity. Well, the
I
the
don't need any
the
friend.
the publicity is nice, but you still have to have paid expenses. You know, I
You
mean,
do.
golly, things are expensive, and
It is.
like I say, some of these guys, that's their life, making
Mm.
music and
Yeah.
you know, and so so I would be glad to play out, but you know, like I say, I played in Nashville, if you call that playing out. I've been to Nashville and played some stuff, but
Oh, good.
as far as like playing shows and things like that, you know, when I was doing that, playing those shows and stuff, it was easy if they knew who you were to get an opening act for somebody.
True.
Like Hal Ketchum, I played 2 years with him, and
Right.
Tammy Wynette, I played with her, and you know, stuff like that. And but now, if you notice, they're bringing 3 and 4 acts at the
Yeah.
same time. At
Yeah.
the
I would
same
say.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
So that
It's true.
that eliminates guys like me for you know for getting an opening act for the most part. Once in a while, there's one, but not
Okay.
very often. Not
Right.
very often.
But now, so you're not playing out, but when you did play out and you had that crowd of what it was 100,000 or so, and you've done probably some smaller crowds.
Oh
What do you
yeah,
like? What do you like the bigger stage? Or you like where the people are on top of you with a smaller venue?
I like the people are on top of me. I would rather play a 3,000 seat theater
Sure.
because people are right in your face. I like that. You know,
Yeah.
if when I used to go to concerts, you want to be where you can really see the guys or women or
Yeah.
whatever whoever's putting on the show, you know.
Right.
And so that's what I like. Now I've played some big stages, like I said, you know, but when it comes right down to it, and I've told my wife that too, I said, you know, I would rather play the smaller stages because it's more intimate for
It's
me, and I
intimate,
like that. I like that, and
real personal. Yeah.
well, yeah, and especially if they boo you, you can pick out the guy that's doing it. You know what
Hey, throw that bottle
I mean? You know,
at them.
I've been very fortunate. I've never been booed. Now I'm not saying I couldn't be, but I have never. At least if I
Don't
was, I didn't notice it.
didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. I don't. Well, I got in-ear monitors, so I don't. You know, but you know what I mean. How
I do.
about you? What do you like best?
Music wise?
No, stage wise.
Oh
If you're
well.
playing out,
mm, I would agree with you. Smaller, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People are more. I don't know. You can look them right in the face, and I like that. And what really amazes me sometimes is the people that are singing along with your songs. Little kids,
Oh, yeah, ain't
little
that cool?
little kids. I had one up on stage with me in Kalamazoo here. Oh, quite a while back now, and that was the biggest thrill of that young gal's life. I think,
Yeah.
you know, bringing them
Oh
up
yeah.
on stage. I'm no big star, but I'm a lot of fun. You know, I'm
It's a
I'm
lot
a
of
lot
fun.
of fun,
It
and
is.
I could make somebody a lot of money, but they don't. Nobody wants to take a chance on you. You know, that's how it is in the business, as you well know. I mean, if you're not 3.5 years old, they don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and and that surprises me because you were nominated in this place right here. You were nominated for some categories, weren't you?
For
The
what?
ISS. Well, within the ISSA.
Not that I know of. They never contacted me about it.
Well, you might got an award down there. I don't know,
I
but
didn't know I was nominated.
I think so, my friend. I think so. But
Oh,
anyways,
well,
go ahead.
I'm not, you know, and this sounds stupid probably to you, but I'm not I'm not a big guy on getting awards. Sure, I like them. I mean,
Yeah.
I like them. I'm in the Michigan Country Music Hall of Fame. That is a big deal to me. And
Yes, yeah.
but getting an award, the music, if I got an award for something that I recorded, that that would be a pretty big deal. But I'm not in it, if you understand that,
I do. Yeah,
just
I'm
to
not in
get
it.
awards. Just to get awards. What I want to do is put music out that people like, and
Right.
that's a big deal for me. But I know who the ISSA group is.
Oh yeah, great.
I got friends that go to that. I think it was what, in Atlanta,
Yeah, it was
or
past August 24th. Yeah.
yeah, Atlanta. But you know, if I got an award, great. If I don't, as long as people play my music like yourself, that's my compensation, man. Right now, anyway. Right
I totally
now.
agree. Yeah, I didn't come into this business for a pat on the back. I do it because I love what I do.
That's exactly right. And you got the right attitude when it comes to that. If you think you're going to be a big star, buddy, go to Nashville. There is
You
so
know,
much, or LA or New York.
LA.
There is so much talent there that if a record label, if they really like you, they'll come and get you, or they'll just go downtown and pick one of those people out of
You're
those
right.
bars.
Dime a dozen, it seems, down in
I
Nashville.
play I played down there on Lower Broad. I know, and
Right on.
it's that's the way it is. But
Yes,
what
unfortunately.
I could do that if I wanted to play in Nashville, I
Sure.
could get a gig there. But
Oh,
I
without a
I
doubt.
did that. I've done that. My thing is, I would rather spend my time putting out great songs than playing in a nightclub and
There you
or
go.
whatever. I mean, it's fun, but after a while, I played 3 years in that one in Battle Creek, and I got tired of that after a while
I'm
because,
sure. Yeah.
you get out of there and you smell like cigarettes, and I
Beer.
never drank. I never ever drank when I was
Good for you.
playing. Well, I had people want to buy you drinks. You know that. You've played
Oh
in
yeah.
clubs like that. Hey, how about can I buy you? And then if you say no, they get mad at you. So
Yeah, they're offended. Right.
I I worked up I worked up a deal with the bartender because they knew me real well. I said, I'm going to tell people that I want a screwdriver. Just don't put any
Just put a
liquor.
screwdriver in a
Yeah,
glass.
yeah. Don't put any liquor in it, and we'll do that. So that worked real well. And
There you
then
go.
one night, I'm sitting at the bar during break, just kind of waiting and not minding my own business. And this gal comes up to me and she says, "Will you dance with me?" And I said, "No, I really don't do that here. I'm here to work." She says, "I ought to slap your face." Well, I didn't even know the woman. Then she tried. Then she says, "Well, let me buy you a drink." I says, "Okay." And then, of course, they gave me the screwdriver. But yeah, she was going to slap my face because I wouldn't
Slap the hell
dance.
out of
Well,
you.
the bartender was standing there. He says, "You ain't going to be slapping anybody's face. I'll throw your ass right out that front door."
Right, right.
And she never said another word. But that's the kind of stuff you run into there, and after a while you just kind of get tired of that,
Yeah.
and I'd rather, like I say, I would rather play a nice theater. Of course, who wouldn't? But
Well,
i'd
yeah,
rather
yeah.
I'd rather play a nice theater and carry on like that. And I signed my share of autographs and CDs and all that stuff. I was working for the FOP, and I did some pretty cool shows for them. One was with Johnny Paycheck, and now I know you know
Really?
who he is, in
Wow.
Grand Rapids, as a matter of
Oh,
fact.
really?
It
Up here in
was
my
it,
town.
yeah, it was at the Armory there somewhere. I can't, Greenville, is it Greenville?
Yeah, Greenville,
Somewhere.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were doing a show. They says, "You want to do a open for Johnny Paycheck?" And I said, "Oh man, yeah," because
Yeah.
I'd seen him, and he had some good songs, and I was excited to meet him. And I did. Usually, you do your sound check second. Well, we did ours first, and I was sitting there in front of the stage, and here comes Johnny Paycheck to do his sound check. Well, he was being led out there because he could hardly walk.
That's
And yeah, and I thought, oh my goodness. And as he walked by, he said, "Hi, young man." And I said, "Hi, Mr. Paycheck." And
right.
he
Respect.
was, yes, I had a lot of respect for him. He was sick at the time, And it wasn't too long after that he died, because he couldn't stand up on stage. He had to sit down. But it was a thrill for me to work with people like that. You
Oh, I
know, he was
bet.
just the greatest, humblest guy.
That's
And,
awesome.
you know, and I mean, I got a million stories. I know we haven't got that much time, but
I'd love to hear. We might have to do this in two parts. I'm gonna do
well,
second. Oh,
well, I did a show with Joel Sonnier. Do you know who he is?
no,
He's a
not offhand.
he's a Cajun artist. Joel
Oh, wow.
Sonnier. Joel Sonnier. Anyway, at Michigan College, beautiful place to play.
Oh, it is. It is. It's
And
beautiful.
his wife calls me up and she says, "My goodness, we don't know any of these songs you sent us." One of them was Jambalaya, and I says, "What?" She says, "Yeah, we don't know any of these songs." And then he gets on the phone and I said, "You don't know any of those songs?" He says, "Well, what are they?" He knew every one of them,
He
every
knew it
one of them.
all.
This was his new wife, see. So
Uh,
we get to the venue, and I'm using his band, except for my lead guitar player was with me.
okay.
And what a show that was. I mean, we had so much fun. They were such a nice bunch of people.
Oh, yeah,
That's
they are.
that's who you run into.
Yeah.
See, people with egos bother me. I don't like getting around people like that. I'm no
Me too.
better. I'm no better than the guy on the street just because I can warble a tune or
That's
two.
right.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
the way I've always been. You
yeah,
know.
I've dealt with a lot of artists that are prima donnas and pompous
Uh
asses that don't want to
yeah,
do anything, and they think they're the best thing that God has given
yeah.
the world.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're right. I don't deal with that very long. I just go,
mhm.
goodbye. I'm not going.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, come on. And there's one in every club somewhere,
Two, three, four, five.
or,
Yeah, there's a
or a,
lot of
t-
them.
or a tough, or some tough guy. Now, you probably kick some ass in those clubs. I wouldn't doubt it.
Had
Uh,
fun.
yeah. I like you, Al. I like you.
You're a
You're
good
all
guy,
right.
Davey.
You're all
We
right.
can have a beer, brother.
Yeah, that's right. Or a shot of whiskey, even. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I'm a rum guy. I like rum myself.
I'm a
I
Scotch
like
drinker.
beer. I used to, but I don't drink much of that stuff. I'm a brew pub beer drinker. I like some of that, that beer they make in a brew pub. Depends where
Oh yeah,
it's
oh yeah,
at, but
oh
yeah, it's. I bet you or something. Yeah, but
yeah.
anyway, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a little crazy back in the
But
'80s.
yeah, but I've had a lot of fun, and I'm still
Look,
having
that's what it's
fun.
about. It's
Yeah, I'm
about
still
having
having fun.
fun.
If
That's about
you're in this, if you're in this to make money, you better turn around and get another job.
keep
I'm
your day
telling.
job. That's
Well,
exactly.
the sad part of that is I've dealt in Nashville for a long time, and there's so many good artists there that end up on the street with nothing, no health care, no pension, whatever, no nothing. But they've
That's
been great. They've been great musicians. But as soon as you get to where somebody else can take over, then they boot you out the door.
well,
This Billy, you know who Billy Strings is?
yeah, yeah. Billy String's popular around here. Yeah,
You ever watched him play?
not live.
I don't think anybody's better than him. I really
He's
don't.
great.
Oh
He's
my
great.
God, I just saw him playing a banjo on some show. A kid plays everything, and how do you learn that? I
You're
mean,
right. Right. Where'd that come from?
yeah, no kidding. But what a flat top picker he is. Plus, he's a good singer. He's a bluegrass guy, and I imagine he can sing probably just about anything.
Yeah,
But
makes it.
I think he came out of Virginia. I'm not sure, but I
Um,
I respect that. I respect that because I could never be that good. But
yeah.
he's one of the younger guys, and I don't know what kind of a person he is because I've never been in his presence. But he may be just the greatest guy. I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He seems pretty humble. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've never heard him do an interview or anything, but uh, there again, he's one of the younger generation. They've got a mandolin player coming up, some young kid. I can't think of his name. I watched him somewhere here last couple days ago. He plays a mandolin like, how do you learn that? I mean, it's just he must have had a darn good teacher, or he grew
Right,
up
right.
with it, or he grew up with it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It amazes me, these young artists coming up, how early they start and how damn good they are. I mean,
yeah,
it makes
yeah.
me look bad, real bad.
Well, they can, yeah, they
Yeah,
can, and that's with guitar playing or fiddle playing. This Michael Cleveland, you know who he is?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah. I've heard of Michael.
You ought to watch him play. He's something else. God. Vince Gill said nobody's better on the fiddle than him. That's what
Uh,
Gill said.
yeah, I've done a lot of logistics for some big artists and stuff, and the one that sets me back that was very good, humble, and professional was Rascal Flatts.
I've never met those guys.
Great
Never
guys,
met them.
great.
Are they?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's good to hear that. You know John Rich?
That sounds real familiar.
Well, he was in I can't think of that band he was in, but he owns a club. He owns a club downtown on Lower Broad. But he's an entertainer, singer,
Mhm.
songwriter, you name it, player. Uh, I've never met him, but I know quite well who he is.
Okay.
And I guess he's a pretty nice guy. I mean, I don't know,
Right, right.
Everybody and their brother owns a club down on Lower Broadway. Uh,
Yeah,
I
true.
man, if you been, I think I asked you, have you been to Nashville in the last few years?
Not the last few years, no. It's been over 10 years, yeah.
Well, if you go there now, you're not going to like it much.
Oh, no, then I
there's
better not
80
go.
there's 80 million people downtown, and all these young kids are all drunk, and
Ah,
I'll if you do, I'll read about you in the news. I know I will. Big brawl downtown on Lower Broadway. I'll look for the
pretty
name,
much.
and there's your name.
It's funny
uh,
when me and my wife go out and we have a drink at wherever, and there's maybe 3 to 5 gentlemen. It's like, can I go over there and start a fight? No. It's like, why not? I want to do this. I want to see if I still have
oh
it.
my goodness.
But like I told
Yeah,
you earlier, it hurts now. It's harder to
yeah.
recover.
Well, you talk to some of these boxers. Mike Tyson. I listened to an interview. He said that his son wanted to become a boxer, and he was talking him out of it. He said, "I've got places on me that hurt every day
Every day.
from doing
Oh,
that." I don't know how people take a kidney punch. I mean, that golly,
hurt.
that's gotta hurt like,
It hurts.
but how does a profession, and you see them getting them when you watch these professional matches, how do they get by with that? Doesn't I mean, is there something about them that it doesn't bother them enough?
I don't know. I just know it hurts.
No
And I don't know
kidding.
how they do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
no
Now,
kidding.
let's talk about your new song, Summer Like That. That's
Yeah.
a great song. I love, now, it's fun. It gets you up and it's going to get the two stomping going. And oh,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
And I love all of your music, and it's very professional. Your vocals are great. You're playing the guitar and the fiddle and stuff, and the slide guitars in some of those songs, and it's just amazing. And when you say you haven't played the Grand Ole Opry yet, damn it, I need to get you on that stage.
Well, well, I don't know how you're going to do that, but they've been putting people on that stage that really don't belong there. I'll tell you that
Oh,
are
I
that
agree.
are ho- that are horrible. But yeah, I think every artist would like at least the country genre or
Yeah,
bluegrass genre would love to be on there. But
yeah.
I've done two videos concerning uh, uh, the Opry. One of them is living it up backstage, and that's the first backstage video that was shot at the Grand Ole Opry, and it
Okay.
had several. It had Lori Morgan and Keith Whitley, and I mean there were several stars of the Opry that were in it. That's the
Oh,
one we thought was going to get me on there, but it didn't because of that guy that I was working with. Well, like I told you, I didn't have anything to do with what happened with whoever, and
right, right.
I don't even know what it was. He never did tell me, but the next
Well,
one, the next one we shot at the Troubadour Theater, and that one was called God's Grand Ole Opry. And believe me, that's a cool video. I think it's a classic. We did it down on Lower Broad. We did it in the Troubadour. And it's just a neat video. If you ever get a chance to watch it, look it over. It's called God's Grand Ole Opry.
I'll
And,
check that out.
yeah, and it was fun to do, and it concerned the Opry, but I still never got to play it. Now that's the way it goes, I mean, that's the way it goes.
Well, we're not dead yet, so I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen because your music is great.
Don't you go over to that Opry now and raise hell with them people.
I can't promise anything.
Yeah. I had a friend like you. He was a fight. No, he was a fighter, man. He was always fighting the police and all kinds of people.
I'm glad I know most of them.
Yeah, and he was like that. We were good friends, and he's not with us anymore. But I can remember the days when we would run around together, and boy, nobody wanted to mess with him. I know that, and it's just one of those. You're just one of those guys that minds your own business once in a while, but the problem with going into a bar with your wife when you're up on the stage playing or whatever, there's always some ass that will come around and cause trouble or whatever. And
I've dealt with that.
I'll bet you have.
Oh boy!
I think Leonard Skinner wrote a song about you, didn't they? One step, two step to the door, or something like that. That actually happened. The guy come in there, and he was one of the guys in the band was dancing with his wife, and he pulled a pistol on him. Oh. And that's where that song come from. I can't think of the darn title name now. And was going to shoot him. He says, I didn't even kiss her. Just let me get to the door and you'll never see me anymore.
Right. Oh, my. That's
funny.
All the shows I've done or whatever, I've emceed them. Crazy things happen. And I think one of them was when I was doing a show for the Outlaw Motorcycle Club. And, so those big boys, they're big boys. I'm telling you, I have nothing on them. And when we were doing the show, one of the guys decided he's going to ride his bike into the venue. Well, that was a big no. So the big boys picked him up in his bike, and that was on the street.
Were they out of Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids?
There was a small chapter in Grand Rapids, but base chapters in Detroit. Yeah.
Oh, Detroit. Yeah, okay. Because I knew one of the motorcycle guys. I can't remember who he was with, us by the name of Herm Cooper, and he was one of them big old boys at the time. And I can always remember seeing him in Kalamazoo. They had an old jail there, and you'd walk along the sidewalk, and the prisoners could hang their arms out the window, out the bars. It was right level with. And there was old Herm, and they're hanging out. I always remember seeing him. In there. But he rode with some motorcycle gang. I guess it was out of Kalamazoo. I mean, I don't know who they were.
There's
but
quite a few clubs around,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if they like you, they like you. If they don't, you better just stay away from them.
I agree. Yeah, I got my membership card. I'm good to go.
Oh, are you? Do you? Are you ride a bike?
Not anymore. Wife won't let me.
Yeah, I had a Norton 750 at one time. Ooh. And more bike than I really needed. And I'm surprised it didn't kill me, but it didn't. And luckily, but I have a lot of respect for the people that ride those bikes. They're very dangerous, as you well know. Yes, and they're hard to see sometimes. And you see these motorcycle guys, 20, 30 of them riding down the highway and not bothering anybody. I don't know where they're going. They may be bothering somebody when they get there. I don't know. But
you're right. You don't want to ask.
Yeah, no, I don't. But, when I was in California, I saw the Hells Angels, some of the Hells Angels every once in a while riding around. But that's about it. Sonny Barger was the president at one time. And of course, he's gone now, but they're still active as far as I know.
Oh yes, they are very active, very active. What? Oh my God, we've been doing this 54 minutes. We've been yakking. How's that, Dave? I love it,
That's
man.
all right. Well, you're a very interesting man. You know,
So are you.
it's nice. It's nice to talk to somebody that's a musician that can, we can go back and forth with different things.
Yeah.
And, like I say, you remind me of my friend that's dead now, but you remind me of him and
Well, that's
the way
cool.
the way you are,
That's cool.
because he went, oh my God, I can see all those cops jumping on him now. And, he was crazy. And, finally he told me, he says, Dave, let me tell you something. When these cops get you down in that room, he says, they'll beat the crap out of you.
Beat
So
the
he said, it isn't worth it, believe
no,
me.
no,
And
I
then
know.
he calmed down finally. He started getting older than that. But
Unbelievable.
anyway, well, how long we got yet?
We got about 2 minutes left.
Oh, geez, Al.
Yeah, it
Hey,
went
Al.
by fast, but I want to get you back on sooner than later so we can continue because we got more to chat about, Dave. We do.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
got a lot. I got a lot of
Oh,
stories. Those
oh,
golf
we got to
tournaments.
talk.
Those golf tournaments. I can talk about that. I met some Eddie Haskell and Leave It to Beaver guy, and I mean all kinds of different people, and just turned out to be great people. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like to come back on when
most
you
definitely.
can schedule me sometime. I'd love to, Al. You're fun, man.
Oh,
You
I
are a fun
appreciate.
guy.
Maybe we can look at November.
Okay, well, pick out a date, text
Sure.
it to me, and we'll rock and roll.
Sounds great. So everybody on podcast land, Dave, where can they find your music?
They can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Apple, Spotify, Vimeo, network.com, Dave Caley, all the social media stuff. And I don't put that on there. The promotion company in Nashville put that on there. So they can find all kinds of stuff on there about me, all kinds of stories and you name it. So this hour sure went fast, Al.
It flew by. I had a great time. This is just going to go on all day, all day. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I really thank you, Dave. So,
Thank
everybody,
you.
yeah, well, you're welcome. And thank you for coming on the podcast. It's a pleasure to meet you. And now we can be good friends and we can have a
Yep,
beer and a shot. And
that's right.
oh, yeah. So, definitely,
Okay,
I'm sure.
Al.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. And I'll talk to you soon. And everybody, check out David Caley's music out there. It's wonderful music. You're going to get off your chair and you're going to start dancing. Two-step
All
boogie. Oh
right.
yeah. All
Thanks,
right, my
Al.
friend.
All
I'll
right.
talk
Bye
to you
bye.
soon. I'll get this out. All right. Take
Bye
care,
bye.
Dave.
Yep.
Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.